Somebody's gotta pay.
Pay for what?
I don't know, just pay!
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of How to Build Your Character. I am Brian. And in the last episode where we left off, we had created a head, a body, a arm, and a leg, and we've placed them in the proper location. In today's episode, what I'd like to take a look at is texturing, so you could at least see how the character is going to be laid out. So they're going to need a few things. You're going to first of all need a texture of some kind, and I'd recommend saving it as a JPEG. If you are using a default texture from the texture pack, or from any texture pack for that matter, I would recommend saving it as the actual image as a JPEG, something without an alpha channel. We don't need alphas for this, and in fact, it can cause your character to be see-through if you've uploaded something to the transparency channel of the file. We'll get into that in a second. So for now, you're going to need a texture, and I would recommend grabbing one of these if you're going to build your own texture. This is actually a template for the Minecraft main character layout, as well as the zombie layouts, etc., etc. So any kind of humanoid will follow this type of look. So get yourself one of these, and in fact, today what I will do is I will start off by texturing this character using this, so you can see exactly how it's done and exactly how it'll look. And afterwards we'll apply a texture to it. Okay? So let's get started. What you're going to need first of all is to create a new texture that's going to be applied to this character, and it's a new Maya texture. So to do so, you're going to go to Window, you're going to go to Rendering Editors, and go down to Hypershade. The Hypershade will open as a separate window, just like that. You're going to have a few choices in here. In the middle here are all the different choices of things that you can make, and you've got a few choices as far as default materials are concerned. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Each of these you can see have a kind of a bright spot and showing some type of reflected light. I typically like, and the names are simply based on the person who made them, or I'm not even sure anisotropic what that means, but it means something that I don't know. Blinn, Fong, and Fong-E. I don't use any of these for this. I'm not going to use any of these for these characters. I'm going to go with Lambert. And Lambert is a non-reflective matte surface. So I'm going to choose a Lambert. It looks like clay when it's done, and I think it looks most like the Minecraft world when it's done. So I'm going to use a Lambert. It'll appear once you've clicked on it down here, and it'll be called Lambert 2, depending on how many you've had in their scene. Click on that so it's selected, and then minimize this window. We're not going to need it right now. We're back in the main Maya screen, and in the attribute editor, you're going to have a Lambert 2 selected, and you're going to see a number of different things in here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to change this. We're going to change it. We're going to call it car texture layout. Okay, and down here under color is what we want to change now. You'll see a number of attributes. Under color, go all the way across until you can see this little square, and then click it. That's going to bring up another new window. The new window is going to allow you to define what defines the color of this character. And we are going to use a file. Once you click File, you'll get a new thing here. It says File To, and again, this is all in the attribute editor. You're looking for Image. In the image, you're going to click on the little folder on the corner, and you're going to choose whichever texture that you've decided to go with. And I'm going to go with what did I call that? I called it car. What did I call it? Low res character layout is what I called it. Alright, so we're going to be creating our new character layout. And when you actually select it, it's going to appear in here as a sample. Now we're ready to apply this to our character. To apply it to the character, this new thing, we're going to select all the parts, like that. Oh, make sure it's in object mode, so I'm holding right mouse button, selecting object mode, and I'm selecting everything. And then I'm going to bring up the Hypershader again, Windows, Rendering Editors, Hypershader, and I'm going to go over my character texture. I'm going to hold down the right mouse button and say Assign Material to Selection. When I do so, it automatically appears on the character. Now obviously it doesn't appear the way we want it to, so now we're going to have to lay out everything so it looks the same. So it looks the same as this anyway. We want it to say, on the front of the head, we obviously want it to say head front. On the top, etc., etc. So we want to look like this in each of the locations. To do so is very simple, and there's actually a lot of different ways to do this. The way I'm going to show you is the way that I normally create my UVs. UV is a coordinate system that allows you to map surfaces onto a flat surface, so a surface like this onto something flat. That's a UV coordinate system. And what we're going to do is we're going to create our UVs. And you can see up here in the options, there's a Create UVs options. This is the way I do it. There's a lot of different ways, but my way I think is very, very simple and easy to understand, especially for beginners. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go onto our character's face. That's the front of the character right here. I'm going to hold down the right mouse button and select Face. In doing so now, I can select the individual polygons of this mesh. And I'm going to select this front one, and I'm going to select all the way around it like this. All these parts that are kind of around it. All of this is what I think makes up my character's face. So I'm selecting all the way around the edges like that. Just like that. Afterwards, I say Create UVs, Planar Mapping, and I'm going to go into the little box on the edge, click it, and I'm going to say from the Z-axis. The Z-axis is the forward-facing axis. So I'm going to say from the Z or Z-axis, however you'd like to say it, and I'm going to say Project. When I do so, you can see that this now changed so that the entire thing is covered in our original texture. I'm going to go to Window, UV Texture Editor, and it's going to bring up a new window like this. In that new window is our selection. And I'm going to, this is my front of my face, I'm going to use the available handles to shrink this down and align it with face front, head front. And if I move this out of the way, you can see as I'm moving this, as I shrink it, you can see that it's actually changing right on the character. Right on the character, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here so I can see a little better. And I'm just going to align it with the texture I have. Now, I'm using this one here that actually tells me front face and front head or whatever. If you were obviously using your own texture pack, you'd line it up with your character's face. Just like that. Move it down a little bit. And this doesn't have to be exact. I think they give you those little black borders to kind of say, stay in this area. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay. Now, if I minimize this, we can see that says head front. Great. We're going to go around the back now. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to hold down the right mouse button, say face mode, and select the faces. And again, I'm going to select by holding shift all the way around the edges like this. Bang, bang, bang. And this is what I consider to be the back of the character's head. So I've selected all the way around the edges. And again, I'm going to say Create UVs, and it's already set up for the Z-axis, Z-axis, planar map. Again, I'm going to open up my UV window, UV texture editor, and again, I'm going to line it up. Now, this time we're going to have a problem, so let me show you what's going to happen. I'm going to line this up with the back of the head. Just like this. I am using the free version of Bandicam again because Fraps, which is what I normally use to record, would not record regions. It would record the desktop, but it recorded the desktop in a strange fashion, broken up into little bits and pieces, and I don't want that. I want to just record a region. So here I am using the free version of Bandicam, which means I have another 1 minute before I'm going to have to turn this off for a second. Alright, that's going to go to the back of the head. Now, let's take a look at what that does. That's obviously lined up with the back of the head, but the whole thing is reversed. I don't want it to be backwards like this. So I'm going to go back to my UV texture editor, restore, and I'm going to hold down my right mouse button and say UVs. And then I'm going to select all of them like that. When I do so, you can see there are a number of options up here for UV editing. I'm going to select this one right here. It's the flip selected UVs in the U direction. When I do so, boink, and I take a look at my character now, the back of the head is written in the appropriate way. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here. I'll be right back. We're going to move on to the side of the head now. And I'm only going to do the head, and after that I'm going to leave the legs, arms, and chest to you as a practice. Once you've gone through these, you'll know how to texture anything afterwards in Maya. And I use this method for almost everything I texture. Okay, So again, we're going to right click, we're going to say face mode, and I'm going to select what I consider to be the side of the head. Now this and this is on the back and the front of the head, so for the side of the head I'm only going to pick this large face and the one on top and the one on the bottom, just like that. Now I'm going to go to create UVs, planar mapping, and this time we're going to project from the x-axis. That's the axis along this direction. If I turn this on, you can see that it's the red one, the blue one is Z, the red one is X, and the green one is Y. So I'm going to project from the x-axis, okay? And I'm going to apply. Again, once I've applied, you can see that on the left side of my head I have the entire thing. And this might sound repetitive, and you know what? It is. This is how easy it is. You guys can do this at home. Okay, so now I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to shrink this down so it's on the left side of my head. Now, I'm saying this is easy, and you know what? What I'm showing you is the very, very absolute basic concepts in texturing. Texture artists work really, really hard in studios. I definitely do not mean to minimize or minimalize what they are doing in any way. They are fantastic artists, and they typically are, that and sound, to be honest, is what makes a good video. Good sound, good visuals, good textures, and you're in good shape. I mean, you can get away with a little rougher animation. Look at TV animation, for example, and people watch it. So I don't mean to minimalize what texture artists do at all. I'm just saying the way that I'm showing you right here is pretty easy. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's pretty easy, and it's just the absolute basics of texturing. Okay, so left head, all set. Take a look. Perfect. Right side of the head, right click, face mode, bang, bang, and the bottom piece right here, bang. And again, I'm going to apply, and I'm going to get this, and I'm going to open my UV texture editor, and I'm going to shrink. And I'm going to shrink and line this up with the right side. Now, once again, we're going to have the same problem we had with the back of the neck. Back of the head. Let me just shrink this down so it's in position first. So it's how I like it. Oops, I did not mean to rotate it. Move it into position. Shrink. Just like this. And there are a lot of different ways of doing this. There's a lot of tutorials on how to do this. If you guys prefer a different method, you should actually watch some different tutorials and see some of the different methods. Pick which one you like the best. I'm showing you what I like the best, the way that I like to do things, and but like I said, there's a lot of different options. Alright, so that's aligned. Now if we take a look, however, let me just minimize this. Right side is backwards, so we're going to go back to our UV texture editor. We're going to hold right click, and we're going to say UVs, and we're going to select our UVs that are currently available, like that, and we're going to go to the UV flip. Bang, and when we take a look, right side of the head is all lined up. Perfect. That leaves only the top and the bottom, so right click, hold face, select the face, and that's the only one on the top that's not being already done. This time we're going to use the planar mapping in the Y direction and say project. Oh, I should have said apply. Then it would have stayed up. Okay, now we're going to go here and we're going to shrink, and we're going to shrink, and we're going to put this on the top of the head. Shrink and grow. Alright, align this just like that. Pretty good. Pretty good. Good enough. Top of the head, all set. Bottom of the head. Last time I'm doing it, right click, hold, face, select, create UVs, planar map, all on there. Bang. Open up my UV texture editor, align, and this is the last time I'm showing you guys. The rest is an exercise for you. I will go off camera and I will finish up texturing this character, and just so you can see, and that will be the end of this episode, because I only wanted these things to be 10 or 15 minutes long, and I'm already going on like 15 minutes. I wanted these to be like fast and dirty. They're not, are they? Okay, shrink, shrink, shrink. Okay, and that's the top of the head. That easy. Sorry, the bottom of the head. Did I line up with the bottom or the top? Let me just make sure. Bottom, good. Okay, that is the bottom of our head. Everything is lined up all the way around. Everything is appropriately placed. So I'm going to go offline. I'm going to leave the arm, the torso, and the leg to you. It's done exactly in the exact same manner. I'm going to go offline right now, do them very, very quickly, and show you the end result. Okay, I will see you all in a minute. Okay, everyone, I'm back, and I have finished doing the assignments. And if you follow the directions and you actually have a material that looks kind of like this, then you should only see what you're expecting all the way around. Now, once this mapping is done, and as long as your textures, your actual Minecraft textures follow the same like they correspond to the actual layout that I had there, you should be able to apply any texture you want to this material, to this character. So for example, I'll select all of the parts, and I have a friend of mine, Terrace HD's texture here, and if I right click and I say assign material, when I go back and take a look, it should all be assigned appropriately. So this is what his character will look like in 3D. And again, if I just want to put the regular Minecraft guy back, I select everything. I go to the hyper shader, and I go to my regular character and say assign material, and it should all look exactly the same as the guy next to it, of course without the eyes and the mouth. So it looks like that's all working. Alright, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy that episode, let me know. Give me the thumbs up, or let me know in the comments. Tell me what you liked and what you didn't like. If I'm going too quickly or too slowly, let me know that too. Alright, everybody, and if you haven't done so already, why not take a minute and subscribe? If I get enough response to these videos, I'll go on and I'll do the other characters as well, the creeper, the spider, etc., etc. Alright, so everyone, thank you very much, and have yourselves